Hi, and welcome back. Now that we have our template set up, we are ready to produce our first piece of content. First, let's review what we've done so far. We created 2 text layers that we can populate with content. We created a drop-down menu where you can select image content from a footage folder inside of our After Effects project. And we can also modify the background of our composition. Once we are ready to render, all we need to do is populate our template with content. It's helpful to preview your content before you send it to production. And here we are. This is our title and subtitle. And assuming we like what we see, we can hit Produce. When we hit Produce, a few things are going to happen. First of all, in the Tasks tab, a new task is created. Here we can see the user, the project, and the status of our render. Now it's initializing the render. What is happening is the farmer is automating After Effects in the background, and that will render a new piece of content. Once it's done, the Task tab clears itself out. So, where did this actually go? Without any configuration, the video file that we just rendered used the output module and the output render settings to generate a new video that is going to render to where we save our composition. The composition is saved in a shared folder that we set up in a previous tutorial called Template Farm Tutorial. As you can see, here's our video we just rendered. Here it is. Now, you'll notice that the video rendered out with the file name that is exactly the same as the composition name. This may not be ideal for everyone. Another thing that's not ideal is rarely would you have your video land where your composition is also saved. Ideally, you would like to send your videos to another location. So let's take care of that now. In your shared folder, you'll notice that every time you save an After Effects composition, there's a sidecar file here that has the same name as the composition, with an extension of TFP. The TFP stands for Template Farm Project, and this sidecar file helps us to override the global settings that were set in the farmer. Those settings include which output module or render settings to use, and also where each file is sent. Remember, we cannot do that online because online we don't see the local storage you have on your hard drive. So, let's open up the Template Farm project. To do this, just double-click the TFP file. Right away, you'll see the output settings under the Settings tab. Here, you can check the Render To box to designate what location renders are sent to from Template Farm. So go ahead and select another folder for the files to go to. We've already created a folder called Template Farm Renders. This folder will hold all of our renders from Template Farm. The other thing we want to change is the AVI extension. We are going to override this and make it an MOV extension. Go to the Plugins Override tab. Check the Output Module box to override the output module. Back in After Effects, if you go to Templates and Output Module, you'll see a number of settings that we created before. Now, we're going to create a new one. We're going to choose the QuickTime animation format. Then, we will name that Tutorial Output Module. Next, copy this name and click OK. Then, back in our Override plugin settings, paste the title you just copied in the Output Module field. It will use these settings every time you render content from this project. Once we're finished, we can just exit out and it will ask you if you want to save. Click Yes. Then return to Template Farm and reset the project. Then we will load our composition. Select the tiger image and then hit Produce once again. You'll notice a new task is created. What we will do next is go to the Template Farm Renders folder and let's see what happens here. You will see that the Template Farm will start rendering this content in a few seconds. And when it does, a new file will show up in our Template Farm Renders folder. You can see that it is a .mov file because we overrode the output module settings. And it also lives in a separate folder, which we also designated when we overrode the settings. To test this, we'll play the video, and you can see that it worked. The next thing we want to do is take care of that name, My First Template. This is the default naming that's been taken from the name of the template. The problem with that is that once someone renders a new file, it will override the current file because the name is the same. In order to change that, navigate to the More dropdown and choose Settings. There are a few settings here that we can set up. The one we will choose here is to allow users to rename the template. Turn that on and click Done. Then it will ask us to reload the project. Now you can see that the name of the template has become something that we can change, so we can type in whatever we want. For now, we are going to call this template My New Template and hit Produce, and navigate back to the Template Farm Renders folder to see what shows up. So as you can see, there is a new file here. It's called My New Template. This is the new file that we just created by naming the template with our own name. Now you may not want to allow your producers to type in any name they want. There is a way to use specific properties of the project that designate which will be the name of the template when it's being rendered. This is called custom naming, which we will cover in the next tutorial.